Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel all about BI. In this video, I'm going to touch upon something related to costing and pricing. Okay, I have an account which I have upgraded to pay as you go subscription, and I have been using it since 6 to 7 months now. Okay, so certain things I observed from the usage pattern and the costing mechanism, which I wanted to share with you so that you can take care while you upgrade your subscription from free subscription to pay as you go subscription. This video is meant for throwing some light on where and all we can save money when you upgrade your account. Okay, so the first thing that I have encountered is if I want to do something with data flow, it incurs cost from the moment I turn the data flow debug on. Okay, why? Because the data flow, if it has to run right, it needs 8 vCore machines. Okay, so the minimum number of machines or vCores that is required for a data flow to run is 8 vCores. Okay, so we will be paying for how much ever time we are going to be using the data flow, which in turn is using 8 vCores. For example, if you are going to use the vCore for or the data flow for 1 hour, right? You just have one data flow and you're just going to use it for 1 hour, means you will be paying $2.18. Okay, so you have to be very careful when you have to use data flow. If there is no other way or no other activity can do what data flow can do, you can go for it. Otherwise, it's better you can think of alternatives, because if you upgrade your account and you're going to pay from your pocket, then it's a costly business with respect to data flow. All right, if you just do the data preview, or if you just import the schema, or you just do some select and derivations, the derived column transformations and all, just a simple thing I'm saying. I'm not saying very compute intensive processes and all. Very basic things that we can do with the data flow incurs this much cost. Okay, so this is the first thing that we need to keep in mind when we go for data flow. If you use 8 vCores for 4 hours, which incurs $0.25 per vCore hour, then you will be paying approximately $8. Okay, so this is number one point. Before turning on data flow, think twice. And second is, if you have a trigger with less frequency, consider disabling or delete the trigger after you have experimented with the triggers. Suppose you want to learn how triggers work, or you want to identify how multiple triggers with the same pipeline works, right? You will have multiple triggers triggering your pipeline then and there. Whenever trigger triggers your pipeline, internally you are going to pay charges for it. Okay, in my case, what I did is I had a pipeline where I had two triggers. One triggers my pipeline every minute. The other trigger will trigger my pipeline every 5 minutes. Okay, and I left the trigger unmodified or deleted, and I have been using it for a couple of days. Okay, so every minute my pipeline has been triggered, and I looked at the invoice, right? It was a huge amount that I had to pay, even though the pipeline which is being triggered doesn't do anything computationally complex operations. It was just a wait operation and it was just a fail activity. Okay, even though I had to pay a lot of amount for that, because every time it triggers your pipeline activities, or it comes under orchestration activities, so for which you have to pay, right? So in case you have a trigger for demo purpose or learning purpose, delete it as and when you're done with the experimentation. Okay, this is number two. And number three is very important as well. If you're going to do something with Synapse Analytics dedicated SQL pool, there are certain costs involved even when you do not do anything in the created Synapse workspace. Okay, for instance, you have a dedicated SQL pool created. In that SQL pool, you have certain tables, couple of tables, not necessarily huge set of tables with lots of data in it. In my SQL pool, I'm telling, I just had 4 to 5 tables maximum, each with not more than 100 records. Okay, so I had this dedicated SQL pool. I didn't pass it whenever I'm done with my experimentation. So the SQL pool was always active. and it is charged per minute, I believe. So the cost was huge again. So when the cost was increasing multifold, I looked into the billing steps, and I identified that dedicated SQL pool is incurring cost. So I passed it. Okay. So whenever you are done with your dedicated SQL pool, go and pass the dedicated SQL pool so that you will not waste money there. This is number one. Even though you pass the dedicated SQL pool, still you will be paying some money for the storage associated with it. In the sense, you have tables, you have a data warehouse, you have tables, you have data in those tables. So for the storage of these require some cost, okay, or incur some cost. Though not a very huge cost, little amount will be spilled then and there. Every day it will be taken, okay, as long as you don't delete the tables and or you don't delete the pool rate, you will be keeping on paying. There is no way to dissociate the storage, or there is no way to disable the storage, okay. And one more option, or one more area where you will lose money in Synapse dedicated SQL pool is redundancy, okay. If you are making some redundancy implementation, like local redundancy, geo redundancy, there are various redundancy options available, right? If you are going to make use of any of this, then again you will be paying charges for it. So I'll be telling what is what. So ultimately, if you go for Synapse Analytics for your demo purposes, create a pool, delete it whenever you are done with your experimentation, okay. That is the high level advice that I would be giving, because if you in my case, I haven't passed the dedicated SQL pool, right? So for this service level, I was paying 125 rupees per hour. So assume 24 hours per day into 125 rupees, assume how much it's going to cost me. So this is one mistake I did, which you shouldn't be doing. Whenever you are done with dedicated SQL pool tables, pass it, otherwise delete it, okay. With respect to storage, I'll be showing you shortly. One second. So when you go to this URL, right, pricing details, Synapse Analytics pricing, there is a frequently asked question section wherein you will be seeing like how compute and storage are built. Compute is with respect to the dedicated SQL pool, passing and unpausing it, okay. If you pass, you won't pay any charge, okay, but for storage you will keep paying, I said, right? So these questions answer those doubts. So I recommend you to go through these questions to get better clarity, okay. So I just wanted to tell you what are the sections of pricing with respect to Synapse Analytics, right? So we'll go to pricing calculator and say Synapse, okay. If you search here dedicated SQL pool, as I showed you, minimum DWU blocks is 100. If you are using that for 24 hours, in my case it was, right? So you will have to pay $36 per month, alright. So this is for dedicated SQL pool. And then if you come down for storage, it is charged per TB. Even if you have data in MB in your tables, it is going to be rounded to a nearby TB, okay. In my case, as I said, right, it was not even in MBs, it was in KBs only, but I kept paying 58 rupees per day, okay. So whenever I looked at my billing, and I understood that every day 58 rupees was going from my account, right, or I've been charged 58 rupees. I was surprised to know about this because I was not knowing storage incurs cost as well, because it as long as Azure has to keep our data stored in data warehouse tables, we have to pay for them, right? So just keep this in mind. One area where you will be charged is when you use dedicated SQL pool, and then second area is storage, okay. If you have a table created in a dedicated SQL pool, you start paying this amount. So when you see 1 TB, because by default it is one rounded to the nearby TB. Even if you have in KBs or MBs, it's going to be 1 TB. So you can assume you are going to pay $23 per month. So the third part of the costing is geo redundant disaster recovery, okay. So this will be enabled by default, which you can disable. It doesn't incur much cost, but you will keep paying some little amount. So it's better to disable it. I'll show you how to disable it from the Synapse Workspace. But for now, just understand that these are the areas where we will lose money in dedicated SQL pool or in a Synapse Analytics Workspace. Alright, so if I say geo redundant disaster recovery, for 1 TB you will be paying $0.06. So it's not a huge amount, but still, why to waste money, right? So that is what I wanted to cover here. Totally, if you see, you will be paying $36 plus $23 plus this cost for geo redundant disaster recovery. Okay, so this is all about the Synapse Analytics Workspace. And one more area that I had been missing to cut off costs is enabling CDC with a real-time refresh. I wanted to learn how real-time refresh works in data flow, change data capture. So it since it works real time, right, it incurs cost. So as we know, data flow uses 8 vCores, and we will be ending up paying 0.25 per vCore, right? So if my data flow is going to run every second for up to 2 hours or 3 hours, assume how much we are going to lose money. So okay, if you have to play around with CDC, try increasing the frequency of the refresh. So that is what I had to say. And Databricks Workspace, if you have it and you wanted to try something with the notebooks, right, you can disable or auto shut down the cluster after certain minutes of inactivity, so that you can save some cost there. And then I'll come to the SQL Server DB in a different video, because it's already 11 minutes and going on. I wanted to show you the billing process as well. Okay, so recent billing, I'll show you how it is calculated and what I had to pay and all. So here, if you see my current cost, I have gone to cost management plus billing from Azure portal. So this is the home page where you will land, and current cost is this month's cost since November 1 till November 11. Okay, if I click on this, I will be getting a detailed view of how this cost was calculated. So when I click on that amount, I landed up here, and I don't understand anything much from here. Okay, there are certain pie charts which talks about service, every service, how much cost incurred, every location, resource group name wise. Okay, so these are certain pie charts that we can get a high level information about the costing. But if I want to look at a detailed or if I want to have a detailed view of per day how much I spent, right, and then we have to use when you click on here, you will see daily costs. So daily costs will be loading since October, I will say just last 7 days. Okay, so there is a calendar here which you can use for filtration, and in the view I just selected daily cost, so that I wanted to know how my charging has been in the last 7 days. Okay, so if you see here, every day I have been paying 58 rupees. This is nothing but this is the charge I have paid for having data in a dedicated SQL pool tables. Okay, even though I haven't done anything, I have been paying this amount daily. Alright, on November 10, what I did, I just enabled on all these days the SQL pool, dedicated SQL pool was on pass mode. But here on November 10, I just moved it from pass to live mode, or I just disabled pass mode, and then enabled pass again in 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so in that gap I was charged around 70 rupees here, 70 or 80 rupees. Okay, so per second billing for dedicated SQL pool is what is attributing to this cost increase. So this is per day cost that I showed you, right? So I'm going back to the cost analysis page, and then from here I just go to resources, cost by resource, right? So I want to just look at how resources have been charged. So I'm just clicking on it, and if you see here, this also will be giving you daily costs since November 1 until November 10th or 11th. It will be giving you cost. If you hover over it, the blue part I am showing here, right, This is all incurred by data factory activities, orchestration and execution. Okay, so on one day it was around 600 rupees for me, on the other day it was 376. Believe me, I wouldn't have done anything complex. It would have been simple activity runs like if condition or a wait activity, fail or get metadata, the basic activities, right? Only those I would have tried. Okay, so for that I have been charged here. In the bottom you will be seeing detailed information, because in data factory I have enabled pricing based on pipeline, okay, not by data factory. So I am able to see here pipeline PL underscore child costed me 467 rupees. This is just for November I am telling. Okay, so for pipeline 2 I paid 233 rupees. So triggers, trigger 2, trigger 1, 14 rupees, 7 rupees. Okay, so the cost of all these under or grouped under data factory demo. This is my data factory name. Okay, so as a whole 935 rupees I have incurred, I mean the resources have incurred. So next to that, what is the cost is Synapse Analytics. Okay, these two are the major charges. If you see in the bottom, I have got lots of resource groups with Azure Functions and few other workspaces as well, which are not too intensive. Okay, too cost intensive. Data Factory and Synapse is what is attributing to the charges for my billing. Okay, so if you expand this Synapse Analytics workspace, there will be three costs. One is storage, which I covered recently, which is nothing but the 58 rupees I paid daily, right? Even though I don't do anything, that is for the storage cost associated with your data warehouse. Okay, so this is the maximum amount that I have paid. Okay, so this is nothing but compute optimized gen 2 is the dedicated SQL pool lifetime, or when it is not unpassed, when you have it active for that much time, right? I am paying this. And disaster recovery storage, as I said, it can be enabled or disabled from the portal, which is not incurring much cost as well, so we do not have to worry about it. So this is for Synapse Analytics. So this is a stacked bar chart. Okay, so if you see here, this is data factory, and on top if you see, you will not understand which other 5 resources attributed to this 58.46 rupees. Okay, for this I spent a lot of time identifying what are the other resources. Man, I don't understand what it is. Finally I came to know that this 58 rupees is nothing but the dedicated SQL pool storage cost, which I have been paying constantly until I disabled it on the November 10th. Okay, probably it doesn't come for today because I deleted my dedicated SQL pool yesterday. And here, as I said, November 10th, I have just enabled the dedicated SQL pool from past. I kept it for few minutes open and then I deleted it back. So in between time I had to pay 138 rupees. This includes storage cost as well. But if you want to know where this cost goes or what is the other 5 resources is, I'll show you where we can see that. Okay, so from the stacked bar graph I just click back and then I will click on this daily cost. These are certain report kind of thing which you can make use of for your analysis purposes. Okay, I'm just clicking on it. This was there by default, I didn't do anything specially. So here I want to know what is that 5 resources for which I have been costed 58 rupees, right? So for that I'm just trying. We have to select meter category, group by meter category, and then granularity daily. Okay, under cost analysis page, and then choose the appropriate month. That's it. Okay, so I have to sort based on date, and here if you see, these are the 5 other resources which incurred the cost. Okay, so this level of drilled down information based on daily you can find out if you spend little time, okay, exploring the cost analysis page. So if you see here 138 and odd I paid on 10th November, and for the previous days it was just 58 rupees, because on all the previous days I haven't been enabling dedicated SQL pool. That's why I haven't been charged any paisa for them. Okay, so it was around 58 rupees daily I have been spending. And if you see here, this meter category will be providing you with detailed information. There is one more group which is subcategory. It will talk about the exact activity, so you can even get more drilled down information if you group by meter subcategory. So if you see 5 entries here for meter category group, if you click on subcategory, you will get lots of rows with even drilled down information. Okay, so I request you to go through all this information so that you get to know about, or you will get insights about why you pay cost. Okay, so if you see here, whenever you see compute optimized gen 2, it's nothing but dedicated SQL pool. Whenever you see storage tier, it's nothing but the default data warehouse storage cost. And then okay, so previous month, if I go, probably you will get more subcategories for see here, in the previous months and all, I have used data flow and see the costing around 400 rupees. Do you think I would have done something like? No, just for exploration purposes I would have used. So just see this cost for data flow. That is why we say data flow is costly and you have to make the best use of it. Okay, so that's all with me for this video. I hope I covered at least few pointers here which I have been struggling all these months. Why I pay this much amount, where I have to pay cost, or where I lost, or where I could have saved money. This was a black box for me, and after I explored this cost analysis page in portal, I have a clarity now where I can cut down my costs and make best use of the resources. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching. You also will have lots of questions about pricing. I request you to sit sometime and explore by yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section, which I'll happily answer if I know. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching. Keep supporting. I wish all the subscribers, friends, family, viewers a very happy and safe Diwali. Thank you. Bye bye.